Welcome to the 360 Sports Network Road to the Final Four podcast series, where we break down each and every conference tournament on the way to the big dance to see who will get that automatic bid and whose bubbles might have just burst. Because before we can fill that field of 68, we must first get through those conference championships. I'm James Dotson, and tonight we want to look at the Western Athletic Conference. Now, the WAC is up for grabs this season, and there are a lot of question marks heading into the tournament in Las Vegas. The top seed Louisiana Tech had an 18-game winning streak this season and was in the top 25 for a good chunk of it. However, they lost their final 2 games of the season. The number 2 seed, Denver, they rattled off 10 straight wins to finish the year, and they get a share of the regular season crown in the process. And the defending conference tournament champion New Mexico State is right there and ready to pounce as well. So lots happening. Who will get it? Let's start with those defending champion New Mexico State Aggies. I love looking through the stats for the Aggies because, unlike most small conference teams, the Aggies do not rely heavily on the 3-ball. In fact, they only average 12 3-point attempts per game. And maybe a lot of that has to do with their freshman forward, Sim Bular. He is listed at 7'5", 355 pounds. Now, what impresses me most, besides his height obviously, is that such a big kid has the ability to stay in the game. He doesn't pick up cheap fouls. He's only fouled out once this year, and that was in just the 4th game of the year. And it's not like he has to leave because of free throw attempts being an issue, or he doesn't have to leave because of tiredness going up and down the floor. No. Actually, over the past 11 games, he is averaging 32 minutes per game. He averages 10 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and you know what? His free throw shooting has been improving down the stretch. Bular is one of 4 Aggies who average double-digit points per game. Keep an eye on the French guy as well, Ban Chassai. He averages 12 points, 7 rebounds per game. And at 6'8" tall, he is a great complement to the big guy down low. So Sim and Sai could be very great for the Aggies at the 3 seed. Up to the 2 seed, the Denver Pioneers. They made a nice run down the stretch of the season. They won 10 straight games on the way to getting the share of the conference crown. They had to beat the number 1 seed, Louisiana Tech, in the season finale to do it. They also split games, not only with Tech, but with New Mexico State as well. They're led by a couple guys, Royce O'Neal and Chris Udafina. They run an impressive 2-man game for the Pioneers. They are the top 2 scorers, averaging 13 and 12 points apiece, and they also are the top rebounding guys for the team. Udafina averages 4.5, O'Neal 5.5. They each average about 3.5 assists per game too. With their lack of height as a team, I mean the tallest player on the team is only about 6'7" or 6'8", it is imperative for the Pioneers to strike from downtown, and they're pretty good at doing that. The team shoots 38% from beyond the arc as a team, and they also rank 10th in the country in field goal percentage in general, 48.5%, so they know how to hit shots when it matters. The number 1 seed, Louisiana Tech, they were having a year to remember. In the top 25 as a team from the WAC is something to write home about. However, those 2 big losses at the end of the year were not very good. They lost to New Mexico State by 18 on the road, and then they got embarrassed, losing by 24 at Denver. So which team is going to show up? The team that won 18 in a row, or the team that got embarrassed down the stretch? Was there just a lack of motivation, knowing they had locked up the number 1 seed in the conference championship? Who knows? What I do know for sure, though, is that there probably is not a deeper team in all of college basketball. They have 11 players who average double-digit minutes, and all 11 have played in 29 or more games this season. They don't have much height, but they do make up for that with keeping their players fresh all around, especially their big men. They'll rotate their 4 or 5 big men frequently, keeping their minutes low and keeping their effectiveness up as a whole. Raheem Appleby leads the way for them, 14 points per game, but it's everybody getting involved, not just Appleby. You can't focus on anybody on offense or on defense. So in a potential semifinal matchup, we have Denver and New Mexico State. I think the lack of height spells trouble for the Pioneers. In the Denver victory, the Pioneers couldn't stop Sim and Sai. So, I mean, they combined 41 points in that game, I think it was. So the Aggies, they turned the ball over 18 times. That was their problem. I don't see that happening again. I see them taking care of the ball, getting it to the big guys down low, making the championship. As for Louisiana Tech, I don't know. I mean, I love the balance, but they're trending downwards right now, and it really wouldn't surprise me even if a team like Texas Arlington or Utah State were to beat them in the semifinals. So I'm going to go with the height, and I'm going to go with the tournament experienced team, and I will take the Aggies to make it to the NCAA. Well, that's it for our analysis on the WAC tournament. Now follow us on Twitter at 3S Network, and keep tabs at 360sportsnetwork.com for all of your Selection Sunday updates. And stay tuned for the rest of the conference tournaments as we help fill your brackets to let them be the best that they possibly can be. I'm James Dodson for 3SN. Have a good evening.